Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Fed Up, your no BS nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Marie, certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist, working with clients since 2014. After swimming up diet culture's bullshit stream for so many years, I am fed the absolute up with how miserable it's making people feel when we are supposed to be getting healthier. This podcast is here to help you gain your sanity back so you can stop yo-yoing once and for all and finally learn how to trust yourself so you can enjoy food again without fear or shame while still getting to your health goals. My aim is to teach you how to detect the BS in not just the food and diet industries, but in all realms of life, because I know that, like me, we are all just a little fed up. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of Fed Up. If you have been enjoying this podcast, please go into wherever you are listening from and leave a nice 5-star review for me because it would really help a sister out. Or take a screenshot that you're listening, tag me on your Instagram story at Kayla Marie _fit, or send a link to a friend. You know, all of that is going to help me out and get this podcast to more ears, which we can only hope for. So without further ado, let's get going on today's episode where we're going to be talking about why the hell it's so hard to just follow a plan. Why is it hard to, quote unquote, just eat right? A lot of times people know what they should be doing or what they could be doing better, but why can't we just do it? Right? Why is it so freaking hard? So that's what we're going to go over today. First things that most people will do is when they hire a coach, they want you to just tell them what to do. So I will get a new client and they're like, all right, give me a meal plan, give me all the workouts I need to be doing this week. Cool. And I used to do this. When I was first a trainer, I'd be like, oh, you want to train 5 days a week, Monday through Friday? Here's 5 workouts for you to do this week. Here's your calorie range to hit this week. Here's a protein goal to hit every single day this week. And then I would see them the following week, and guess how much of that plan they would do? Zero frickin' percent. Now, granted, there was a couple of people that were really gung-ho about it, and they just jumped to it, and they were ready for it, whatever it may be. Most people, they might even think that they want this really intensive, structured plan that tells them exactly what to do every waking minute. But it doesn't work. One, because you are the expert in your own life. As a coach, I don't know what your life really looks like outside of the 1 hour I spend with you, or even 30 minutes I spend with you, right? And a lot of times, clients are looking for a coach to tell them how to structure their lives without any consideration for how they're currently living their life. You want to do a whole 180, right? You're like, I'm going to eat different. I'm going to work out different. My whole schedule's going to be different. And then like a week later, you realize like, oh my God, this is a lot. This is a lot to do. You get overwhelmed. You get paralyzed. Or you're doing a whole bunch of shit and nothing's working yet. So why do people want a plan, right, with rules and a structure, and yet clearly that does not work? Now, when we are looking psychologically at behavioral change, I am a certified behavior change specialist, so I look at how do we actually get humans to do the things that they say they want to do? How do we get you to meet your own expectations and those expectations that maybe other people have of you? So the very first thing that I want to talk about, we're going to talk about 3 different sections today. The first thing is accountability. It is so hard to be accountable to yourself. I'm just going to say it. And I know that this is like beating a dead horse, right? Everyone knows I just need to be more accountable. But like, what does that actually look like? How do we be more accountable? And also, we don't always have someone else to be accountable to. So how do you be accountable to yourself? It's really hard for most of us. Probably only about 1/4 of people can like uphold their own expectations. They meaning they set a to-do list. Nobody's watching them. Nobody's relying on them to do that to-do list, and they just do it. They don't have that argument in their head going back and forth whether or not you should get up off the couch, right? And if you do have some type of neurodivergency or anything else, this can be so challenging. It's like, I know I should get up and go do this. Why isn't my body moving? Why am I debating in my head? Should I do this? Should I not? Well, if I just it's like you have to walk through, get up, put your shoes on, and then you can choose this outfit or like wear, whatever it may be. You're like walking yourself through the steps, but you haven't been moved yet, right? You're just still sitting there thinking about it. And then now like you're almost exhausted, or you're thinking, well, it's too late now. It's already been 15 minutes. I have other things to do. Like you just get in your own way, right? Most of us need external accountability. We need someone else who is watching us. This is why like you're at home chilling, whatever, you put a dish in the sink, no big deal, right? All of a sudden your roommate comes home or your mom comes home or your spouse comes home and you like rush to the sink to do that dirty dish, right? You don't care if the dirty dish is in the sink overnight if it's just you. All of a sudden you have a roommate, you have a spouse who does care. Your ass is at that sink doing dishes, right? There is something about this external accountability that 70 to 80% of people are going to need. This is why hiring a coach works. It's almost not just the plan and the guidance and like the education that a coach gives you. It's just the fact that someone else is watching you, someone else cares, someone else is asking you, how's it going? And a lot of times we don't have that in our own life, right? Nobody's really checking in on us. I mean, you might have somebody that's a little overbearing. You might have really close friends. That's all good. But a lot of times, like, you don't really have to do anything because we have free will. And to motivate yourself to do something just for yourself requires a deeper level of commitment that a lot of us haven't practiced yet. And I do want to also mention shame-based accountability does not work. Okay, in little doses, I think like tough love or a wake-up call can be really beneficial. But shame does not work. Shame and guilt and feeling like you are a shitty person or feeling like you are less than because you're not doing the things you should be doing or because you're not at your goal yet, it's only going to backfire. It is only going to regress you. Whether that shame is coming from someone else guilting you and then you feel the shame, or you're just an internally hard on yourself type of person like myself. If you have any type of neurodivergence, if you're ADHD, if you have trauma, if you're a female, by the way, females are much more neurotic meaning negative thinking. We think worst case scenario. We're thinking, how do I stay alive if this happens? So we're constantly attuned to the negative. What should I be doing? I don't know. I'm only focusing on what I'm not doing right now. And that's a place your brain likes to be because your brain is hypervigilant. Your brain is like, okay, whatever I have to do now to make sure I'm safe. And safety means I'm not going to the gym to risk being laughed at. I'm not going to go to the gym and risk tripping on the treadmill or not knowing where to go and feeling confused or feeling fat or feeling lost. I'm just not going to go because that's a dangerous place for my brain. I'm not going to wake up a little bit early and like actually cook myself a good breakfast or whatever it may be. I'm just going to grab a donut on the way out because that's comfortable, and waking up 10 minutes early is hard, and I just don't even know what to cook for breakfast. So then you just don't do it, right? So there's and then every time you don't cook breakfast, you like feel bad about it and you blame yourself, and then it's like this whole circle of now you eat 10 donuts instead of one. Like it's this whole cycle of trying to find something that works for you accountability-wise, but then feeling guilty and full of shame when you're not there yet. Or again, if somebody else is keeping you accountable and that person tends to rely on guilt tripping or feeling whatever it may be, but like you feel ashamed after you talk to that person, you need to find a new accountability partner, okay? Again, small doses is fine, right? Like you're debating on whether or not you want to get up early and go to the gym. There's no real reason, you're just feeling kind of lazy. And you have a workout buddy who's waiting for you at the gym. You are much more likely to get off your ass and go meet that person because you don't want to let them down. You'll let yourself down over and over and over again, but you don't want to let someone else down. Now, if that friend were to message you and say, get your fat ass up and meet me here, or be fat and lazy forever. Okay, that's out of tough love. It's once in the morning. It's just enough to get you out of bed and into the car and driving on your way to the gym, right? Do it tired. Do it anyway. That type of little bit of like playful guilt is okay, is healthy even to push people. Hey, I know this is uncomfortable. Do it anyway. But when you're talking to somebody about your accountability or about like, man, I really wanted to be at the gym at 5 a.m. every single day this week, and I got there at 5:45, only 3 days. I need your accountability partner to hype you up, to say, holy shit, but you got there 3 days at 5 a.m.? Well, how many days did you get there last week? 0. Well, 3 is better than 0. That's fucking awesome. And you hype them up about, oh man, let's keep this momentum going. Let's go 3 days next week. Let's do this together. You're encouraging them, not, oh, I know you missed those 2 days. And then you're trying to find, well, I know, but I had this doctor's appointment. Well, maybe I really need to just wake up earlier. And like you're thinking about those 2 days you didn't go to the gym instead of celebrating the 3 days you did go. That's a good accountability partner. They want to hype you up with the momentum instead of focusing on the shit you didn't do. Or I had a client this morning tell me, well, I did okay with nutrition last week. I tracked and this and that, but I still had fast food twice and blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, twice. What did you have for fast food the week prior? She goes, 5 days, 7 days. She was eating fast food every single day. The next week, she only had fast food twice a week. That's phenomenal progress. And twice a week fast food is pretty sustainable. I, as a nutrition coach, eat fast food probably once or twice a week. I don't think that it's going to hurt you, but 5 to 7 days or most of your meals out, let's reel it in, right? And only do 2 days or only do once a day. I have some people that eat out 2 or 3 times a day. Well, reducing that to 1 time a day is much more sustainable. You're going to build momentum and feel good about yourself until you can, maybe get to the next step or not eat out at all. But if you go from 5 to 7 days a week eating out to 0 and you don't even know how to cook, you don't even really grocery shop on a regular basis, like there are so many things that need to change for that to happen because it's not just the fast food, right? It's the convenience. It's your habits of where your time management is, where your energy flow is, right? You use all of your energy in the beginning of the day. You have none left over for the evening. No wonder you're looking for convenience foods for dinner. So what can we do with that convenience factor that's going to help improve your nutritional intake, right? So there are ways to be realistically accountable, celebrate your wins so that you can build momentum and not do accountability out of shame. Oh my gosh, the amount of coaches that just shame their clients and then you shame yourself. That's the thing. As a coach, I cannot shame you more than you probably already shame yourself. So I almost counteract that with, let's celebrate your wins. What did you do well this week? What are we going to do well next week? Not, well, how can you be better? You fell short this week. How can you be better? What were the things that really held you back? Like we can talk about those a little bit, but I don't want you focusing on like, I still had fast food twice a week. I'm not perfect. I didn't meal prep every single day. I don't want that your goal, especially if you're starting out. When you're starting out, we are doing more of a learning and a practicing and a building momentum, building habits. We're starting very broad and very general before we get specific. And way too often people get specific too early and they end up, and when I say specific, it's like they try to follow this like minute by minute plan, or they don't allow for any type of wiggle room with their lifestyle. And then as soon as an obstacle comes up, they just drop off the wall, right? Because like their whole life is not in this bubble of whatever plan that you have. And as soon as life happens, it pops your bubble and now you have no plan. We're not doing that. We're creating a plan that you can stick to throughout your life. And that starts broad, general, tiny habits like waking up at the same time every day, getting to the gym once, twice, 3 times a week, taking an extra walk at lunch or including a vegetable at lunch, and you never do that now, right? Those are very easy, sustainable steps that are still hard enough, right? You want your challenge to be challenging enough that you're like, yeah, I could do that. That's motivating. It's going to create or it's going to demand some effort, but also it's doable. You know that if you work hard and you really set your mind up, you can do it. Now, a lot of times we overestimate the things that we can do, right? You're like, yeah, I can work out 5 days a week. That's great. That's fine. And then you have no practice working out 5 days a week. Your whole schedule does not orient around going to the gym 5 days a week. So you've got to start lower. Lower the barrier of entry, lower the threshold until you're building some momentum, and then you can start getting more specific with your nutrition, right? Maybe right now, all you're doing is trying to eat 3 meals a day because normally you eat all day long, you snack all day long and you just don't have real meals, or you only have 1 meal a day and then you're starving the rest of the day and you feel like shit. Some people, all I have them do is we're just focusing on meal regularity, right? Or building a plate. We need some protein, we need some carbs. First, you have to learn what those foods are. You have to learn what a protein is, learn what a carb is, learn how to cook those things, learn how to prep those things and eat those things. Create the entire lifestyle around somebody who works out, somebody who eats well, somebody who cooks at home. If you're doing 0 of those things, it's not going to happen overnight. And every time you try to make it happen overnight, you end up regressing. So stop it. Stop doing that. Number 2, which I'm kind of already leaning towards, is so the first reason why we can't do the things that we want to do is because our accountability is shit, either to ourselves or we actually don't set up an environment of being accountable to somebody, whether it's a coach, your coworker, your friend, your spouse, whoever it may be, right? Or we're using shame-based accountability, which does not work. Number 2, I've already kind of mentioned this. It's a high amount of effort with a low amount of return. This is what happens when I hear, well, I'm doing everything. I've tried everything, but nothing's working. All right, hear me out here. I'm not calling you a liar. I know you are probably doing, quote unquote, everything that you can think of to do. And we're going all in, right? We're 100% in most of the time. And what happens when we do this is maybe most of the day, you have everything under control, right? Your willpower is on lock. You have a good breakfast. You have a good lunch. And then you have, a meeting at work and you have all this stuff that you have to do. And then you get off work and you're exhausted. And you're like, shit, I worked an hour late. I don't want to go to the gym. It's raining. It's this, it's that. And now because you have exercised willpower all day long, you've restricted your food, you've been thinking about the gym all day long, you already feel exhausted by going to the gym, even though you haven't been there. All of a sudden, that's when people will lose their sense of reality. And what I mean by that is the perception is I'm doing everything I can, but that everything only really lasts until 4 p.m. Or everything really only lasts during the weekdays, and then on the weekends, it's like a free-for-all. Or I'm doing everything I can because we're doing 75 hard, or we're doing Whole 30, or I'm doing this 10-day detox, right? You're doing a lot, a really high amount of effort. And then when you don't see immediate results, this is what happens when we don't practice delayed gratification. We want immediate results. Well, I ate well today. Why don't I have a flat stomach today? And then we're thinking, well, nothing's working then. Nothing's working because you've tried all day long. You've tried all week long. You might have even tried for a couple of weeks, even a few months. I have clients that 3-4 months go by and they're like, why isn't anything working? I still look the same. I still feel the same. Now, we have to, again, be a little more realistic in how we are celebrating our wins. Is quote unquote nothing working because you're not at the goal you want to be at after 2 weeks? Okay, that doesn't make sense, right? Is nothing working because your weight hasn't gone down 10 pounds in a week? No. Is nothing working because after 3 months, all you're focusing on is the exact number on the scale? You're not actually weighing yourself every day to find the average of the week, which I've talked about before. You're weighing yourself very sporadically, so you don't even know you're having fluctuations. And then you're not counting the fact that you have more muscle or that you have water weight or whatever it may be. So you're thinking, well, I've been doing this for 3 months and I'm still at the same scale weight. You don't even notice that you have more energy, that you're stronger in the gym, that you probably have more muscle and bone mass, even if you can't see it yet. So the scale weight might be the same, but your body composition, you have gained muscle. You are improving your circulatory system and your lymphatic system through movement. You're strengthening your bones and muscles. You're more active than you were 3 months ago. That is a win. But when all you're focusing on is the goal that's not happening, or the fact that you haven't been perfect in 3 months or for the whole 3 months, you think that you're falling short, right? So I want to challenge you and say, first of all, do you have a high degree of effort most of the time or only about 60% of the time? And again, it feels you're not going to be able to objectively measure this, okay? I need you to understand that we as humans are incredibly fallible. We lie to ourselves. Our brains fill in gaps. You are not a reliable source of information. Now, I know I said earlier you're the expert on your own life, and I believe that. You are the expert on your own life, and you are an unreliable source. So just know that. And what that means is be brutally objective. Take a step out of your own life and say, if I were to just write down what this person does all day long, all week long, what they eat, what they're thinking, where their movement is throughout the day, right? They wake up in the morning, they move here. You go to work, you are at home, wherever it is. Where's your movement? Where's your flow? Just pay attention to that kind of stuff. And then figure out objectively, measurably, how you're actually doing. Meaning, if you're tracking weight, I want you to track your weight every single day, take the average of the week so that we can get rid of the fluctuations and actually see where we're at. I want you to take an inventory of how you're feeling throughout the day. Oh yeah, in the morning, I wake up with all this like extra motivation and willpower. And then by 3 p.m., there's zero willpower and I do nothing the rest of the day. Where's the disconnect? What's happening there? Are you not regulating your stress? Are you not eating enough earlier in the day so that later you're so hungry, but your willpower is low? That's why you overeat later at night than in the morning. There are so many other factors that are affecting your willingness and ability to lose weight or to eat better or to go work out, whatever it may be. And you have this high level of perception of effort. That was a terrible sentence. You have this perception of like, you're doing everything. But in reality, and I've worked with people where I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that nutrition plan sounds really great. You're eating perfectly. Okay, so how many days do we eat like that? And then I start getting to, oh, well, like I'm usually really good like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But like Thursday, I'll go out with my coworkers, we go out and have a girls' night and then I have usually a couple drinks. And then Friday, I feel like shit because I had a couple drinks that I just end up, going to the Starbucks drive-thru and then I go eat fast food for lunch and then dinner comes around and I'm just like, fuck this, let's order pizza. And that persists for 4 days because it's the weekend. And then Monday comes around and you're like, yeah, back to our diet, right? Half the week is not like that. So if you're only doing that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or half those days, it's still only half your week, but your perception of how much effort you're putting in is really high because you're putting in a lot of effort Monday through Thursday and then zero Friday through Sunday. I need you to like decrease the amount of effort during the week to like a good 65% and keep that through the weekend. That's how we actually see results. It's not a Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday. It's not even like the first 2 weeks of the month are great and then the last 2 weeks of the month are not great. This is how you know you're stuck in this like all or nothing mindset of you either do all of the things or none of the things. And we're breaking out of that. Number 3, you are relying too much on the motivation, the willpower. You are relying too much on, well, look, I have this plan and your dopamine is all high because you just planned something and you're so excited about it. Did you know that telling someone about your goals, so speaking them out loud, seems like a good idea, right? It seems like a good idea to post on Facebook or post on Instagram. This is my goal and I'm telling everybody so that y'all can hold me accountable. There is a huge problem with this. It is not what you think it is. That does not work. It actually tricks your brain because you are releasing the reward, the dopamine from planning and sharing your goal. It tricks your brain into thinking that you've basically already accomplished it. I know. Telling someone else, oh yeah, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And I have to tell you this because I'm going to work out 3 days a week and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I have to tell you I'm going to lose 10 pounds because then you'll keep me accountable. Well, now you just told someone that you're going to lose 10 pounds. You just told them your whole plan. The dopamine fix is over. Now, tomorrow when you wake up, like, okay, I've got to do the things to lose 10 pounds. Your brain is already like, but we did it. Remember, we told Sarah we lost 10 pounds or we're going to lose 10 pounds. Your brain has a way of screwing stuff up for you because it fills in gaps. It responds to stimuli that you might not even realize is in the complete opposition of what you're actually trying to do. Meaning, you're trying to hold yourself accountable by telling a bunch of people what you're doing. In reality, you are not actually setting up your habits, your environment, your whatever it may be. You're not setting yourself up to actually accomplish that goal. You're just giving yourself the dopamine high of having a goal. Does that make sense? And this is very important because a lot of times, again, we get into the mindset of like, I've got to tell all these people what I'm doing. Whether it's diet or exercise or finances or whatever it is, you get in this habit of like telling people your goals. And as on one hand, I can appreciate that because yes, we do want accountability. Yes, I just told you the whole thing is we need external accountability. Posting a vague thing with your goal to people, or even just telling your friend or telling your mom, well, I'm going to be doing this summer. That's my goal. I want you to stop. I want you to put on the blinders. Find your one person or your small group of support who, again, know how to actually keep you accountable without shame, who actually support you and hype you up. And I need you to actually come up with a plan to accomplish your goal rather than just talking about the goal. And when you're relying just on your willpower, your motivation, your plan, you're like, yes, I have this whole plan to get healthy this year. But you haven't changed your mindset, your habits, your environment. You haven't set realistic daily, weekly, habitual things that is going to actually lead to your goal. You're just thinking, well, I've got to lose 20 pounds. That's my goal. I'm losing 20 pounds. And maybe in your head, you're like, yeah, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to walk more. I'm going to eat better. And then like 2 days later, you're like, okay, what am I doing? How is eating better? It doesn't work. Okay. And you've already lost half your dopamine just by telling somebody that you're doing this. So I need you to write down the goal, come up with exactly what you're doing week to week, day to day. Make it challenging and exciting, but make it freaking doable. And don't rely on that motivation, okay? I don't care if you're tired today, you don't want to go to the gym. That's what happens when you say, I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week, no days off. And then what happens when you really just want a day off? That plan doesn't work. So you need to realize, scratch the plan, okay? There are so many times that people are not meeting the plan or they're not able to follow through. And then they think that there's something wrong with them. Guess what? We're not doing shame here. So when you fail, quote unquote, fail a plan, or when you disappoint yourself because I couldn't do it. I just got to try again. I got to try harder. White knuckling your way through a health plan does not work. It doesn't work. And I know that so many of you are like, yes, but if I do 75 hard, that's just going to kickstart me. I'll do something every day. And then I can kind of, take a step back after I accomplish my goal. This is something I hear a lot is they're just going to start with 75 hard, or they're just going to start with doing, 30 days straight to the gym to build a habit. And I know your intentions are good. I know you're like, but if I go every day, then I'm just in the habit of going after work. Guess what, though? Not even professional athletes and bodybuilders work out every day. So Joe Schmo, it's not going to be you. All right? And also it's unnecessary. There's diminishing returns at one point if you're, again, stressing yourself out so much more when you can't go to the gym, or you're working out sleep deprived, really, really sore and under recovered all the time because you don't have an actual plan for this. You're just like, every day, white knuckle, until you run out of fucking steam, or until you hurt yourself, or until you go on vacation, or you get sick, or like something comes up because life. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't go to the gym today. I'm a fat piece of slob. I'm this, I'm that. There are so many people that are like, well, if I don't go to the gym every day, like I just feel like shit. And I've got to ask them, why? Is it because you didn't get movement in and you just know how good your body feels with movement? Movement begets movement. If you wake up in the morning and you work out, you will have more energy throughout the day, contrary to popular belief of thinking like, well, if I work out in the morning, I'm going to be tired the rest of the day. No, you should be more energized after your workout. And if you're not, I have questions. But if you are so married to the fact that you have to hit 75 days straight of 2 workouts a day, as soon as you can't do that, and this is also why I don't like these programs, because they're also encouraging the all or nothing mindset by the fact that if you miss a day or you fall off the plan, you have to start over. So it has to be 75 days straight, otherwise nothing. So what happens is people will either finish 75 hard and then they take a break. Or again, you feel like so accomplished that you're like, oh, thank God, I'm not going to the gym at all this week because I've been twice a day for a month and a half or 2 months and a half, right? 2 months and a half, 2.5 months. But when you set yourself up for, I'm going to the gym every day, then when you don't, it's very easy to all of a sudden drop off the face of the planet and resent everything you were doing on that plan. Okay? I can't tell you how many people I know and I've seen that start 75 hard, and whether or not they finish, that doesn't even seem to matter. Whether or not you make it 13 days, 30 days, or all the way to 75, after they finish, they drop off the face of the fucking planet. There's no alcohol, no sweets, no this, no that. They're doing all this cardio. They also lose muscle mass, mind you, because they're not doing what they need to do to actually promote muscle building. So people that I've seen will sometimes come to me at the beginning of their 75 hard to do like a body composition test or something like that. And then after, yes, they might have lost some weight, but they look deathly. They look ill. Their cheekbones are poking out. They've lost muscle mass. They've lost athleticism because, again, like you're overtraining almost. It's one of those things that most people, unless you are already like a high level, you're already doing a lot, and now you just want to challenge yourself a little bit more. And 75 hard is like not that, like you already don't drink alcohol. You're not really a sweets or if, you're not eating fast food every day. You're already working out maybe once a day. Adding that second day and like being a little more intentional about things is not going to derail you. However, people that I know who start 75 hard or some similar program are going to from 0 to 100 miles an hour. And then it's no surprise when they go from 100 back to 0. No. I don't want that to happen because you're relying on this short-term plan to keep your motivation high. And then as soon as that plan ends, you have no actual plan. This is another reason why I don't just give my clients this like cookie cutter, here's what you need to follow the next week or two, because they're not going to do it. There's no ownership in it, right? They didn't come up with the plan. You are the expert in your own freaking life. I cannot give you a meal plan because what I eat is very different than what you eat, what I like, what I'm prepared to cook, what I shop for. Like it is so different. Even if you have just like a standard Western diet, what I eat is still very different than what you eat. There might be allergies, preferences. There might be a learning curve, right? If I'm like, cook a whole roast chicken and you're like, what? There's a learning process here before you even get to the outcome of your goal. And a lot of people skip the learning. They skip the building the habits, setting up your environment to be more active, to be more health forward, to be more positive, setting up your relationships to be more health positive. If you don't do those things along with your magical workout plan or your nutrition plan, you're going to fall off the wagon and it's going to be like even farther down than when you started. It's the same thing for yo-yo dieting. Usually if you lose 5 pounds, you gain 10. Then you lose 5 pounds again, but you're 5 pounds heavier than you were when you started. And then you gain 10 more. And now you're actually like 10 pounds heavier than when you started. So in the same way, we don't want to do this like back and forth, all in, all out, all in, all out. It is much, much, much worse for your health, physically and mentally. And what I mean by that is they even show studies where they look at obese people who have a weight cycled. So they've lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, versus someone who's just been consistently overweight. And they find that the person who is yo-yoing their weight, the person who is fluctuating, they've been skinny, they've been fat, they've been 100 pounds less, 100 pounds more, they are much more metabolically and other things. They are much more unhealthy than the person who just stayed overweight their whole life. I know, crazy. So when you are looking at your ideal plan, okay, I'm setting myself up for 2025 to be the year that I no longer have to make a nutrition or a fitness related resolution. And what I mean by that is, again, if your lifestyle is already active, you're already health forward, I don't think there's anything wrong with like a new year. You come up with a goal that's, again, challenging yourself to get out of your comfort zone, to push to the next level. But if your next level is simply level fucking 1, I need it to be level 1. I need you to go from 0 to 1, not 0 to 10. All right? I need you to take the stairs, not the elevator. All right? So when you are looking at setting yourself up, working with a coach is going to help because of the accountability, because we can help talk you off the ledge. We can help set up some realistic goals that are both challenging and attainable, and we can adjust those goals as you go along. This is something that I think a lot of people don't realize is really helpful with a coach is, okay, after a month, things change. Are you feeling stronger? Are you feeling like the plan is too much and you're not accomplishing it? Okay, how do we change this plan so that you build momentum, so that you're actually doing it? If it's too hard, we're going to scale back. If I give a client 4 workouts a week and they only do 1, I'm going to bring it down to 2. I'm going to say, okay, you did 1, yay, try for 1 more. Then the next week, okay, let's try for 1 more plus a 10-minute walk. And then next thing you know, 3 months later, you're working out consistently 3 days a week. Instead of like 1 month, you're 5 days a week. And then the next 2 months, you're at 0 days a week. Okay. That is so much more harmful than just going once a week all year long. I would rather have a client go once a week for 52 weeks a year than go once, 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a row. Like if you could do 20 workouts in 1 month versus 52 workouts all year, I would rather you do the 52 workouts all year long. Okay, let's put it that way. So something I want you to do is 3 things. I want you to find your accountability that works. I want you to set up a person, set up a checklist, whatever it is. I need you to have somebody or something that's expecting you to do the things that you have to do outside of yourself and outside of shame. Number 2, I want you to find your real why. I know this is kind of cliche, but it has to go deeper than losing 5 pounds or just being healthier. I want you to think about the worst case scenario if you don't change. I want you to think about what you want more out of your life in your future self, your children. What do you want to be able to do in your 70s? And hold the fuck on to that. Okay? I know it's not about losing 5 pounds. It's about feeling attractive to your spouse. I know it's not about losing 5 pounds. It's about being able to run around with your children. It's about being able to wear the dress you've wanted to wear for 3 months because you bought it and it just is a little bit too snug, but you love it so much you just want to wear it so bad. I want you to remember how you feel every time you wear a strapless dress at a wedding or a bathing suit. I don't want that fear to be driving your life anymore and you to be afraid of going to a wedding or going to a pool party because of your body or because of your fitness level. I want you to feel confident and strong and powerful and capable to do these things for the rest of your life. So I need you to find your why. It's not just 5 pounds. It's not, well, I just want to tone. I want you to find why this matters to you. Because if you don't, it's easy to talk yourself out of it. I need you to find your life or death reason why. Okay? Then I want you to actually measure your progress. And the progress is not just the scale weight or whatever your outcome. The progress is consistency. The progress is, have you been to the gym consistently? Have you been eating enough fiber, protein? Have you been eating regularly, consistently? I don't need to know, oh, well, I've lost 1 pound this week and I'm lost 0.5 pounds the next week. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at, did you check off the workouts that you plan to do this week? Did you walk as much as you planned to do this week? And actually check it off so that you can look at your month and say, yes, I did those things. Or no, I did not do those things. Because again, your perception is falsy. Your perception is not reality. All right. So I need you to actually look objectively at what you are doing, what you're not doing, what needs to change, and track that. It doesn't have to be your calories you're tracking. It can be something else, but I need you to be able to have a record, have a proof not for your coach or whoever's being accountable, but that's how you stay accountable. That's how you say, oh, I did work out for 52 weeks this year. That's what we're after. All right. So I hope that this episode is kind of a little bit longer than I normally make them, but I hope that it's really brought you to, oh, that's why I can't just download a plan and expect it to work. That's why I can't just set myself up for like, I'm joining a gym and going every single day and wonder why you don't go after like 1 month. Okay. I need you to listen to this episode again and take some notes because you need to adjust how you're viewing not just accountability, but how you're viewing, like, again, your degrees of effort, your challenges, your goals. Otherwise, you're going to keep making the same vague goal at the beginning of the year and falling off the tracks very quickly. So I hope that this helps you have some ideas of what real accountability looks like and how to set yourself up for success and not just keep, making the same exact resolution every year, or every goal that you have is like the same goal, but like, 4 times a year, it's like the same thing. We're stopping that. We're going to make this last this year. All right. So we're right about the time when people are starting to lose momentum from their new year. And I hope that this can revive you a bit. So thanks for listening. Leave a review, send it to a friend, and I will chat at you next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about what to do when your partner's not on board. When you have either a family member, roommates, a spouse, a partner, whoever it is who's living with you or doing life with you, and you are trying to make all these healthy changes, and what the hell are you going to do about them? All right, we're going to talk about that next week. I will see you then. Thanks, and have a great day. Thanks so much for being here, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot and tag me over on Instagram or leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening from. Your support means the world to me and only helps me get the No BS news out to more people. If you're interested in working with me in nutrition or personal training, check out my programs and courses on my website at kaylamariefitness.com and on Instagram at kaylamarie_fit. See you next week.